want to welcome everybody to another podcast of the NLX Extra Mile. Today we have wonderful Gloria Maynard with us.
Yay.
She is a founding member of NLX, which is Network Lead Exchange. She's a lifelong entrepreneur, a dynamic networker, and a mentor to many. Welcome, Gloria.
Thank you, Bruce.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got here?
Okay, can it be more open-ended?
Absolutely. It can be more open-ended. It's as open-ended as you like.
Okay. I get to answer that any way I want. What was the question again?
Why don't you tell us a little bit about
myself.
Yourself? Yes.
Okay. I am Gloria Maynard. I am a founder of NLX. I am a lifelong networker. I guess what's significant to bring up right away is that I enjoy every part of this. I thank you for having me here. I enjoy your company. I enjoy, building things and having great partners around me. And that's really why when you picked up the phone and said, Gloria, could you come check out something? My immediate response was yes. And then I said, well, what is it? Right after that. So, I think having wonderful relationships and continuing to enjoy the people you surround yourself with and endeavor to do business with, et cetera, just brings you to interesting places. So here I am.
Well, no, that brings up a good point. When I contacted you, Network Lead Exchange is a pretty fairly new networking group. It's a franchise. Mahendra Gaurier purchased this franchise because he's got this beautiful facility here at Venture X. Okay,
yes, it's beautiful.
And it was like a match made in heaven with NLX, and that organization is up and coming, and it needed A players such as yourself to come on board. And I want to thank you for becoming a founding member.
Absolutely.
All right, but what would you say to people if they asked you what networking is about? Okay.
I think networking is a very natural human dynamic. If you put two or more people together, they will begin to network and organize. There will be a hierarchy, there will be leaders, there will be followers. It's just a natural thing that we do. I feel that when networking in the sense of business building or, even recreational things, whatever interests we may have, we take the natural need to be around other people of like mind, like interest. We take the natural organizational, pieces of humanity, and it just is kind of leveraged around something. So I have found that some people are more natural. It's not that they don't have those natural qualities that I just described. It's that now that it's an organized, focused thing, how natural do you feel in that environment? Right? And that's why I think it's really important to find the right networking group, the right dynamic, the right mix, because they do differ. And for one person, it may look like this group, another person may look like that group, but there's value in it because that's what we naturally do, and that's how we progress and grow. So I'd say the choice of what you get involved with is the important part, what group.
Understood. I've been networking for quite a while myself. I came out of corporate America, so I started up my own business about 10 years ago. And I understood the value of networking simply because I networked in corporate America as well. Because, little do we know as humans, we're all networking.
Absolutely. We're like bees. There's a hive, and we're just kind of, building that hive constantly.
But it seems like to me, whenever you mention networking to someone who is an entrepreneur and they're so involved in their business and they say that they don't have time for networking, okay, or networking isn't for them, I don't really think they understand the value of networking.
Well, I think they have, rightfully so, based on personal experience or maybe observed experiences of others. I think they have labeled networking a certain thing that wasn't productive. And like I said, it's a natural thing. That same person is networking or else they don't have a business, or else they don't have a social life, or else they don't do anything, right?
Right.
So it's really about saying, this is what works best for you. Now find the group, because now it's not a novel thing. You know, I mean, I guess I remember back when networking more took off, you know, earlier in my entrepreneurial journey, right? But now there are so many choices. But some of those choices are very pedantic or very unproductive, and someone doesn't get something out of it. So they've been let down, and they made the choice, is it worth my time? I didn't get it. And this is another kind of false expectation. I'm going to get something out of it immediately, and I don't put something into it. So I think that person needs to understand they network anyway. Now, what is a good fit for them to get around other people and make it productive, and then set realistic expectations around what, you know, the results are going to be.
No, good point. I think, you know, the point you just brought up, when people start networking, they're looking for immediate results, and networking is not about immediate results. You know, it's about, you know, understanding what other people bring to the table, okay, and how you fit into their architecture. That's, you know.
Yeah, it's not a sales call.
No.
This isn't this. Networking is fundamentally relationships.
Right.
That's why I'm saying it's natural. We all network. We all have relationships. Even the most introverted person has some key relationships. I think it's really on us to say, well, what do we want out of it from a business, you know, point of view, and be, you know, be very selective in our choice. You know, set up ourselves for the right expectations, and it's very obvious when someone you meet at a networking event or networking group is really just trying to say, well, what's in it for me, and get something and get going. And that's just, it's not a good feeling for anyone. So that person isn't going to do well because people feel used, you know? So if you go in, I think when I go in to meet a group, I don't, even if I don't think it's something that might last long, whatever, I always go in with the attitude of, I wonder who I'm going to meet here. I wonder what they're interested in, you know, and make it kind of like an exploration, a new adventure, really. And then ultimately, when you're genuinely interested in someone else, you know, you find that they're a lot of times genuinely interested in you. And you just exude a certain openness and interest, you know, people are interested in you.
That's an excellent point. You know, so many times you will have conversations with an individual, whether it be online or whether it be in person, and, you know, you forget components of that conversation that could be very important to the future of your relationship with them. And, you know, just little things that you could pick up, or you go to their LinkedIn page and you see what their interests are, because LinkedIn is all about business. And whenever you have a commonality with somebody, that automatically connects you. All right. And that connection right there is what grows the know, like, and trust factor.
So we just talked about relationships, connections, you know, all of these, you know, translated into the word networking. You know, if you ask someone, hey, in order to build your business that you just started, would you like me to share, you know, to introduce some people that I have relationships with that I think, you know, would definitely be interested in your business? That would be a yes. If you say, hey, can I connect you with someone that I think would really need what you're doing, that would say yes, relationships, connections. If you say, would you like to join me in a networking opportunity? That's a hard, you know, so that's what I'm saying. It's the term that is associated with some things that have not been worthwhile, productive, or have not, you know, felt good in the past. So, you know, just you know, forget the terminology that stumps people and get right to what is it, what's happening here, you know, and you're sharing yourself, you're exploring other people's interests. I spend a lot of time when I'm out meeting people, whether you call it networking or whatever. You know, I talk a lot more about raising 4 kids, or learning how to sail, or hiking. I just at a networking group that I'm involved with, I had a one-to-one call, which is important, you know, because you do want a one-to-one. I had 2 back-to-back, a one-to-one visit yesterday and a one-to-one call. And most of the time, we talked about hiking. Okay, and I'm telling him how to get on this app because his girlfriend always wants him to hike. And I'm like, she's going to love me now because I'm going to show you this app and you're going to go. And he's like, yep, I'm going to tell her about this. And so, that's what and then we rounded it out with, oh, and by the way, I have someone I'm going to do a warm introduction. I want this one guy to talk to actually my son about student loans and stuff like that, because that's just where he is. So it's a connection that is going to ultimately lead to hopefully a win-win for both of them. But, that's the thing. I mean, who are you? What makes you interesting as a human being? And then you also find out immediately you're assessing, is this someone trustworthy? And it's a trust basis. And people get that really quickly. And I think if a person goes in with an attitude of, I'm going to evaluate, who is in here that could be my next client or stuff, it's just not, it comes off as untrustworthy. And it's unfortunate because you might be trustworthy and you might be great at what you do, but you come off maybe because you're nervous or you have different expectations of what it should be, or whatever, but you come off as untrustworthy. And you're defeating yourself. And so, of course, it's going to be a bad experience. Excellent point.
Mm-hmm. Excellent point. And that leads into another thing. See, and again, I want to know how you feel on this. People, the misnomer of networking is you show up, okay, and you meet the group in a group setting.
Yeah.
It's not over yet, okay? You have to have individual meetings with those individuals that are in that group so that you can learn more about them, because you might not pick up on certain things in the group meeting. So you meet with them one-on-one. Tell me a little bit about how you would mentor somebody or tell somebody how to handle that situation.
Well, I think you have to be intentional and know what the protocol is. Like, here's the process. You go in to the group, you try to be, genuine, relaxed, enjoy the time, just be present, enjoy the time there, share, have something prepared that is, to the point, what business you're in or whatever it is that your offer is. But then reach out, make it happen, make the one-on-ones happen. Of course, if there is someone who is within the metron, of what your focus is, or could be, a direct connection to your business, obviously that's expeditious to reach out to them. I want to connect with them. Ultimately, I want to do business with this person. But I think the one-to-one really is about the highest value I can place is on someone's time, myself included, our time, right? So if I want to show someone that they are individually important, and I'm going to put out this time and we're going to talk. And you kind of leave it a bit unscripted. I think it's a little, if it's overly scripted conversation, it just doesn't feel genuine, but see where it takes you, and try to be relaxed. Some people are just always in sell mode, and it just doesn't come off well. So just be relaxed, just a person, And so then when you make that time for that person one-to-one, it means that they are important enough for you to make that time and you appreciate their time. And so then, see where the conversation takes you. But always try to then either wrap it up or, say in next steps. I really like to, when I'm talking to someone, think through who can I introduce them to that would bring value to them, And, there's the philosophy, give, ask. I feel much more comfortable giving someone something than I do asking. And most people do. But, you feel more comfortable asking for something, which is maybe an introduction to someone or whatever, after you kind of break down those initial walls and, you get to know someone. Bruce, I feel comfortable asking you for things. Right. I've called you and said, Bruce, I really need to figure this out. I need your input on this. And guess what? You're like, absolutely. And we meet and do it. I feel comfortable asking you things.
Right.
Okay,
No.
because we have a relationship, and I want you to feel comfortable asking me things, but that doesn't happen overnight. So I think the process in the one-on-one is just getting that warmth.
Excellent point.
And think about what you're going to ask down the road. That's okay. It'll come together, but it's not like a hit and run scenario.
If you were going to, these are great points that you just brought out, and I think everyone should really have a takeaway from this conversation with regards to networking. If there was one thing that you can leave the audience with regards to networking, what would that be?
Enjoy it. People figure out quickly if you don't enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, find something else.
Good point.
I mean, really, figure it out. Figure out why I'm not enjoying it. Is it because I'm putting too much pressure? Is it because I expect a sale too early? Are my expectations not right? Am I just around people who are annoying? Am I around people who are not genuine? Do I need to shift? Just enjoy what you're doing. This is valuable time. I think that when we network, when we socialize, when we connect, when we create relationships, all that is called networking. When we do that and we choose an organized networking, group, I mean, that's why people want to be around you, because you enjoy it.
Absolutely.
So figure out why you don't. If you don't, move on, make it better. Found one. We founded one together.
Yep. Nope.
Right? If you're not finding it, make one.
Right.
Everybody could found one, you know.
No, good point. Well, Gloria, I want to thank you very much. I think this conversation was very valuable to the people who are listening. Thank you for being a founding member of NLX.
My pleasure.
And I'm looking forward to many different opportunities that we can create new revenue streams down the road.
All right. Here we go.
Thank you very much.
Do it. Do it.
There you go. And here.
I know where the camera's on.
There you go. Cameras all over.
Have fun.
All right.
Okay.
There you go. All right.